reading. Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. That might be the only time you get to see Missy, because it's the plant. She's willing to come out of hiding to eat the plant. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. That was a brief picture of Missy, and we may see Taz. He's sitting at my feet. I thought that I was going to do a fairly brief video for you today, because I'm hoping to do another one, 2 releases this week. But then I remembered I finally finished this, so maybe I'll just talk a little quickly. I did finish Crenshaw, which is part of my project to get through all of my 2018 lists. This is a lovely book by Katherine Applegate, and it's for middle readers. I think it's really top-notch. I've really had a lot of good luck with middle readers this year. Jackson and his family have fallen on hard times. There's no money, and this is a current day story. They are going to have to live in a minivan, not for the first time. Dad has MS, is finding it hard to get jobs, and Mom is working sequence of part-time jobs trying to keep it all together, but that's just kind of an impossible task, really. Okay, so Crenshaw comes along, who is Jackie's imaginary friend, a cat. Quite a large cat. And one of the things that's funny about this book, not funny, but really quite charming, is that we get all these images on the beginning of each new chapter. Crenshaw in shadows. So Crenshaw returns, and Jackson is about, he's going into about grade 3. I'm not sure how old that is, sort of 8-ish. And the cat, Crenshaw, had not been around since Jackson had been like about 5, I guess. So Crenshaw has appeared because Jackson needs moral support. And because of the financial situation that's arising and the stress around that, and the parents doing like one of 2 things. They're not telling Jackie, I'm going to call him Jackie, they're not telling him what's, like really happening. They're kind of making side steps around the obvious, because all the furniture is going out of the house and being sold for a garage sale, and they're not being 100% honest with him about what's coming, and at the same time they're praising him for being stoic and supportive when they sell his bed, or that kind of thing. So Crenshaw comes along, and Crenshaw is reminding Jackson about what is the most important thing to him besides family, and that is truth. And Jackson's really struggling with, what truth does Crenshaw mean, and who does he need to be truthful with? And so it's really quite a charming discussion that the 2 of them have. And there is a best friend, Marisol, who helps Jackson with coming to terms with his imaginary friend. And I think there's a quote in there from Harvey. Do you all remember the Christmas movie with the giant imaginary rabbit? Anyways, if you do, it's cute. Yeah, I really think this is well told. Jackson is very well crafted. The parents, I think, are fairly sympathetic. They are trying very hard in a tough situation to stay cheerful, stay family focused, keep on the sides of what's important, not run away from the problems. So I think that there are a lot of brilliant, if you like a book with messages about family and stuff, this is solid. But at the same time, there's just a really good character, and there's a really good plot line, and the settings are well described. Crenshaw is very well described. And I think, yeah, again, top 4.5 out of 5 on this one. The only reason I'm holding back and not giving it a 5 is I've been giving so many 5s, I'm beginning to think like maybe there's, maybe my expectations have diminished. I don't know if these books are as good as they are, or it's just been so long since I've read a mediocre book that all of a sudden it's like, boom, it's great. Which is not really entirely fair to the rest of the 2021, because there were some good books in there. Thomas King, Indians on Vacation, a novel. I'm so glad I didn't read it when I was on vacation, because the 2 main characters, Bird, who is a Canadian. He identifies as Canadian, although his background is Cree. And Mimi, who identifies as Blackfoot, have gone to Prague. And the journey to Prague is more or less around finding I just lost the word, the bundle, the spirit bundle that an Uncle Leroy had about 70, 80 years earlier. This Uncle Leroy had got in trouble with Canadian Royal Police, Army, depending on your point of view. And he had to leave the country or go to prison. So he joins up with a Wild West show that's traveling through Europe, and he sends postcards back. But he's taken the family bundle. Now, this bundle is not sacred. It's more about memories. And so it's kind of annoying to the family that the bundle has been taken. But I think more annoying to them is that it wasn't returned. So Mimi and Bird over the years have gone on these different vacations to the spots where the postcards have arisen in some kind of a fairly undisciplined search for this bundle. It's not like it's not like they're getting together with heads of museums or whatever. It's just kind of random, and I don't know if it's charming or not. It's just, I think the randomness of their search was a little bit frustrating to me. Mimi is quite a character. She really has got a sense of her husband, Bird. He is having some growing internal conflict and turmoil, and she's really got a pulse on the situation, but she's also a bit of a poker. If he's having a bad day, I think she's sympathetic, but it's like that tough love sympathy, and she wants to know, which demon is in his mind today. And he's also, Bird is also suffering from some health issues, diabetes, and maybe some other things that are related to diabetes, but maybe not. He's got a bunch of undiagnosed situations going on, and how much of that has to do with his inner turmoil. So Mimi is kind of a difficult character. I'm glad that she's not on the side of so sympathetic that it's sticky syrupy, but she also occasionally comes up with something that I think, that was a little uncalled for. But on the other hand, when you're dealing with someone who has mental health issues, as we have in our family on both sides, you find the strategies that work with that particular individual. And so maybe Bird is the kind of person who needs a swift kick in the ass periodically. In his case, it seems to be a couple times a day. Bird, who is the author of this book, is a photojournalist, and he is tagging along on these journeys mostly through inertia. I think over the course of his photojournalistic career, he's encountered a number of things that have been quite traumatic for him. And as a photojournalist, he has to capture the picture as opposed to work within the situation. He's not supposed to influence the current events. So on the one hand, he's done his job, and on the other hand, he hasn't really been much helpful to the people that he encounters along his life. And this is kind of the sticking point. He has several demons that Mimi has named for him. Katie for catastrophe, and Desi for Desi for depression, I think. I can't remember. There's another one who likes to lift weights, and there's another one who's just always like really immediately there. The minute Bird starts to go into any kind of internal monologue thing, this other demon, as it were, pipes up. So it's kind of a depressing book. I really think that it's don't read it if you're already in a bad spot, okay? It's just going to make you feel even more kind of, he's captured the ennui and the despair and the inertia and the just wanting to crawl into bedness that Bird is feeling every day of his life. He captures the voice of Bird's inner tormentors beautifully. I think this is a book that is very much an emotional book. It's very much a character book. They're going through Prague as regular tourists. There's nothing particularly outstanding from their day-to-dayness except for one train trip that they take to Budapest. That would be a spoiler. You'll have to read it yourself. I think that this is a book that's really an inner contemplative journey that the reader has to be prepared for. There are no real triggers. We're not reading a memoir of abuse or abandonment or jail. I mean, they both live fairly average lives, and so we're not really encountering post-traumatic stress in this sort of brutal, terrible outwardness, kind of something bad crap happens to you and you're just not recovering. It's the internal voices that are creating deep amounts of stress for Bird. And Mimi, at one point she says, I really love you, but sometimes you're really hard to live with. And sometimes it's really hard to be the reader of this book. I think it's brilliant. I think it's just been a beautiful evocation of someone's journey from recognizing that these symptoms or these thoughts have been part of your life all along, but at a certain point they become overwhelming. And can you overcome them? I think that's the other part of this book that I'm not 100% sure where Bird lands by the end of the book. You know, I can see some progress, but did he make it out of the hole that he's dug for himself? Not going to tell you. I think this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Again, I adore Thomas King. This is so different from his earlier works and his comedy writings for Dead Dog Cafe. It's definitely a storytelling. There's definitely multiple story perspectives. There's a character, Oz, that Bird meets every morning for breakfast, but the wife Mimi never shows up, so Mimi wonders if Oz is real and Oz wonders if Mimi is real. That's pretty fun. And then there's the story of Uncle Leroy. There's the story of the family back home in Canada. There's a little bit the story of Bird's family in Greece because he's mixed race, Cree and Greek. So yeah, there's many discovery points along this book, and I think we're all rooting for Bird along the way, and yeah, I think it's a really interesting internal view of humanity through the eyes of someone who's used to looking out, and so his inward journey is very much a difficult piece of discovery for him. The camera lens isn't working. That's it for me today. I'm off to try and do another video for this week. And I'm kind of surprised the cats haven't wandered by because it's almost lunch. And you know what that means when a cat wanders by and it's almost lunch? Get off your ass and feed me. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.